Hi, I'm Peter Mulcahy, Principal of Westminster Junior Primary School, which is a K to Year 3 school in the northern suburbs of Western Australia, a low SEI school with a significant population of ESL children, about 33%, and 25% Indigenous students. We chose to select the Fast for Word program as part of our reading intervention because we had an issue with phonological awareness, and we felt that the neuroscience behind the Fast for Word program would be a possible match for that issue. Our NAPLAN results over many years had showed us that we had significantly more children at or below benchmark in reading than in other areas such as writing. And further analysis of the items on NAPLAN, we discovered that we had children who we knew could do certain reading skills but weren't getting to the questions. So our belief was that they were using so much cognitive space to decode that there was nothing left for them to develop understandings. So as part of a Principals as Literacy Leaders program, which is a national project, I was taught about wave interventions, and the first wave deals with mainstream children, second wave with children who are a little bit behind, and the third wave with children who are significantly at risk. And our testing showed us that the major risk was phonological awareness, a lack of phonological awareness, so that's why we selected the Fast for Word program. The major benefit for our students from Fast for Word, apart from results of testing, was probably their increased self-efficacy, their belief that they could actually do something, and the teachers have reported that that was a significant change in the children's behaviour and their preparedness to have a go at work. The subjective feedback around Fast for Word, the children who participate in Fast for Word from the teaching staff, is about their preparedness to have a go at other areas of curriculum because of their increased confidence. We had children whose behaviour may have prevented them from perhaps trying some of the society and environment or science or other areas of the curriculum, and one of the things that we did notice in a number of our children, not all, but a number of our children, was their preparedness to actually believe they could do something and have a go at it, which of course then improves the outcomes for them and improves some of the behavioural issues that happen in the class and therefore the outcomes for everybody else in the class. We used some objective assessments to select our children for both Wave 2 and Wave 3. We used an astronaut-invented spelling test as a screener, followed that up with a SPATR, which is a Sunderland Phonological Awareness test, to look at phonological awareness, and then we screened every child in the school with an EduCheck, which is a letter-sound relationship test. Children in the Wave 2 were those who performed poorly at letter-sound relationships but had reasonable phonological awareness. The ones we selected for Fast for Word were those that had poor letter-sound relationship and poor phonological awareness. Now, the post-assessments after 20 weeks in the program showed marked improvement in the phonological awareness, in the SPATR and the ACE, so much so that we're working in partnership with a research fellow from Edith Cowan University, and she's done a lot of research in this area and said to us that that's probably one of the biggest jumps in evaluating that she'd seen, and not wondered what we've been doing, because she actually saw what we've been doing, and she would say that Fast for Word has a significant proportion of that improvement attributed to it. In selecting the program, we wanted to research the effectiveness of the program in our aim to work with phonological awareness. So I had first seen the program about 3 years before we started this process, presented to us by a member of the company at a collegiate group of principals. I read the research about the program put out by the company, and it looked like it would certainly meet our needs. At the same time, I needed to have a look at the research that perhaps challenged some of those assumptions, and the research certainly showed that there was significant benefit, even if maybe it didn't agree with everything that was said in the first research. So we felt that it was important that we trial this because we felt that would have an impact on our children, and our trial has shown that it certainly has had an impact on the ability of our children to actually process, and has certainly improved their memory, which has been significant in them trying to learn sight words and learn letter-sound relationships, so it's had a really positive impact. We used the program with 12 students in 2010, and 10 of those students really benefited. A number of those students had concentration issues. 3 of them were actually diagnosed ADHD, and we found that the program was very effective with them. And I think the reason for that is because the visual and auditory immediate stimulation they get, along with the digital format of the program, really motivates them, and they feel like they're getting that success after success after success. But when they get a negative response, having the tutor around them to support them is really crucial, and the fact that that's then an immediate response as well provides them with that feeling that they are achieving and succeeding, and that really changes the way they feel about themselves and therefore their improvement. So I think for those children, those with attention issues and memory issues, probably the cohort that I would most use the program for. Having selected the 12 children and said that a number of them had behavioural issues or concentration issues, a lot of them also had a history of poor attendance, which goes hand in hand with having poor reading skills. So we needed to address that issue. So we put out a letter to parents, a contract if you like, because the school was putting a significant amount of money into the program in purchasing the actual licence for the program, and also in paying for the education assistant to actually supervise the program. So the parent was called in and asked to look at the data. We gave them the evidence that their child's attendance wasn't good and the evidence that their child's performance wasn't good, and offered them a solution. And they had to agree to make sure their child attended school 90 to 95% of the time, and then they would remain on the program. If they didn't do that, we would offer the program to someone else. And I suppose the greatest joy for us, we took one child whose attendance varied between 30 and 50% to an attendance well over 85% in the 20 weeks of the program. The impact upon that on his younger brother, who was at pre-primary, was just as significant, because he was also attending and therefore getting all the phonological awareness work we were doing in the pre-primary as well. So that was a major benefit to that family. For me, the thing that I like most about the program, actually it's very hard to name one thing I like about the program most, but the joy on the kids' faces, the joy on the staff working with the kids, the sense of achievement that they got from seeing children succeed and seeing them develop. In fact, we did a staff survey at the end of the project as part of our work with Edith Cowan University, and one of the comments that came out, many of the education assistants, or we call them paraprofessionals, was that they just loved working with kids and seeing them improve, and that came from our 4 staff who were working with Fast ForWord. So I think it's that joy, that success, that feeling of achievement that was the best thing for me. I would highly recommend Fast ForWord to other schools who would be thinking about helping children with memory, attention issues, and wanting to improve that letter-sound relationship and phonological awareness part of early reading. But I'd also think it would be of use for those students who are older, because I think the motivational concept behind the program would certainly benefit those older children, the year 9 and 10, even 11 children who perhaps are having difficulties in the area of reading, because to give them the power of reading is to give them the power of life. So really, really important that they have some opportunity to improve there. And I think this program is a really good way of achieving that. I think if the program is going to be effective, there are a number of things need to happen in the school. Firstly, I think you need a designated area to actually have your Fast ForWord lab, and the company provides superb signage and posters and things and motivational charts for the kids. And if you train your staff up well, and again the company provides training for your staff, and that really supports them in using those resources appropriately. And I think the other thing is for them to make sure they have a go at all of the different games. I know I had a go at them all on the demo version, and I couldn't do Sky Gym. I really struggled with Sky Gym, so I felt for those poor kids who couldn't do Sky Gym, and I was able to tell them that, which I think also made them feel better too, that the principal couldn't do Sky Gym. But I think school leaders also should have a look at it as well, so they know what their children are doing, because that knowledge will help you to assist the children to get the most out of the program, and that's after all what we're there for. So I think those things are important if you're going to implement the program correctly or appropriately. One of the education assistants that we trained up as part of Sonic Learning's training was to work with Progress Tracker, and we found that certainly provided a really hands-on look for both that person, the classroom teacher, and more importantly myself, so that I knew what was going on. And the team at Sonic provided a great deal of support for us so that we were able to target what we were getting from that package, because a lot of it we didn't really understand, to be honest with you. So to have that support was really important and enabled us then to add other areas of the curriculum to support the issues that children were having with some of the games. One example, I suppose, is the use of the xylophones for the children having trouble with the Sky Gym. It was a great idea that came through, and one of my EAs set that up, and it really did help, and that child was then able to progress even quicker through and get onto the next module, which made them very happy. If I was going to give any advice to parents who are considering the Fast for Word program versus tutoring, I think both are really important in assisting your child if they're having difficulties with learning. It's a matter of targeting what the resource is for, and I think if the issues are around memory and a need for the neurotransmitters to be working more effectively in the brain, then I think this is a superb way to go about it. And I would actually look at perhaps using it in combination with tutoring, providing the tutor was fully conversant with what the program's aims were, and even probably understood the program. So I think that would be very powerful for anyone looking to help their child and support their schoolwork. Fast for Word implementation for us in 2010 came about because we won a school innovation grant, which enabled us to find the funds to purchase the actual program for the children and importantly provide that education assistant over the shoulder marking. It's not as easy for us this year, but we believe in it so much that we are realigning some of our funds to have a slightly modified, more targeted go at Fast for Word this year, and in 2012 we move into the National Partnerships program, and that enables schools to have far more flexibility. And if I was a National Partnership school now, I would certainly be looking at Fast for Word as one of the options for dealing with improving children's reading.